everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. Today we're going to talk about the Denver victory in the NCAA title for the Frozen Four. Very exciting, but more exciting is that we had 3 Detroit Red Wings prospects on the team for that victory. Before we get started, though, don't forget about the KOA Care Camps link in the description for the last home game of the regular season at the Griffins. You can get tickets through there, and it goes to help sponsor kids with cancer at summer camp. So make sure to do that. It's in the description box, and let's get started.
It's probably going to be a sold-out game as well.
I would imagine, even if it's Chicago. Chicago's not been fun for us this year, but you should come anyway.
Absolutely miserable. But hey, we might win. We
did
beat them once this season.
Twice.
So, did we? Really?
Once.
I think it was one time.
It feels like twice,
because I kept thinking about a miracle here where he says they might win.
Do you believe in miracles?
We just need one.
Yeah.
Now we need 2.
All right.
So the 3 prospects, they've been kind of drafted all over the place, but we've got Antti Tuomisto, who's one that you'll remember from 2019. So he's been in the system for some time already. Shai Buium, who was just drafted last year in 2021, and Carter Mazur, who was also drafted in 2021. So these guys are kind of all over the spectrum as far as when their draft years hit and everything, but when it comes to their collegiate careers, they're all kind of in the same vein. Tuomisto's a sophomore, the other 2 are freshmen, so regardless of age, they're kind of all back at the level playing field now.
Yeah, which is kind of how it goes throughout, of course, all leagues. You're not always all the same age. It kind of in juniors is when that is more the case, and then once you start going to college and everything, you're playing with a lot of guys who are in different stages of life, different parts of college and all that.
They could triple major and be there for 15 years.
They could not have any sort of NHL dreams on the team, and you're out there and you're a draftee, trying to make the team. And again, this is all very early in all 3 of these guys' careers. That's another thing to note. So it's very exciting that this kind of stuff is happening already. So the second would be Shai Buium, who is also a defenseman, and he's 21 years old right now. He's drafted in 2021. He's a big guy. He's like 6'3", 220 pounds? 220 pounds, 6'3", defenseman. It's very exciting to
put it
see.
in perspective, Tuomisto is 6'5" and 210.
Yeah, I mean...
So big size difference
We
there.
knew looking at the last... Ever since, I would say, Steve Yzerman became GM, we've been drafting a little bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's been very exciting. And now we're starting to see these bigger guys come through. So, of course, that goes into all their skating ability and their just skill on ice in general. But Buium himself had 18 points in 39 games played. It's not crazy, but he's a defenseman creating chances. It looks like, as of this past season that they just ended, 65 shots on goal as a defenseman. Mm-hmm. And that also depends on how frequently they're on ice. Are they on the power play? But creating chances is basically what defensemen look for when they're in, defending the zone.
Creating chances to get it out.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Carter Mazur, he's a forward. So his shots on goal, 104 for the season, which is pretty darn good. And he had 38 points in 41 games this season. So keep in mind, the NCAA season is shorter. We've said that before.
And that's with playoff games. So So 30, or how many games? 41 games played. So that's 32
adding regular season games.
That's adding playoff games.
And if you think about that, like Tyler Hirose fell into this when he came out of MSU. They had 33 games when he came out and ends up with 78 games.
I was going to say, this season, the Griffins are playing, I think, 76 games.
76, yeah.
This season, usually it's 72, I believe. But even then, it's double.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount. So the time that they have, even with pushing it to the playoffs and adding a few extra games, long term, that's going to be a lot of development time for them.
Yeah.
But Carter Mazur, like I said, he was drafted in 2021. He is 20 years old. So these guys are all pretty close in as far as age goes. And same level. So he's a freshman. And I don't know if you mentioned, but Buium is a freshman and Tuomisto is a sophomore. So they're all kind of the same as far as where their placement is on the team as far as seniority goes.
Going back to Tuomisto, he had 21 points in 35 games played. So a little more offensive as a defenseman than Buium so far. But that doesn't mean that's like his... That doesn't mean that's their style, you know what I mean? So
he could be getting more time.
He could be getting more time on ice. Again, he could be on the power play. It really depends. And these are all just stats, so you kind of have it in your brain of what they offered to the team while they were going through their year or years in Denver. So these things are really exciting for Red Wings fans to see, because you like to see, first of all, your prospects doing something. Right. You like to see them developing. And Rachel and I both guessed that all 3 of these guys are going to go the full college route. So as Rachel brings up most of the time, Detroit has the 4 seasons in college to decide what they want to do with them. So it's very exciting to see them doing well within college.
Right.
to make that good push for the Red
It's
Wings
almost
roster.
it's almost like a free 4 seasons of an athlete.
Yeah.
Because once they get drafted, and any NHL team can do this, but once they get drafted, they have 2 to 4 seasons to figure out if they're going to long-term fit, if they need that long-term development. Now, some they do bounce, like we had with Philip Larson. They pulled him out prior.
Yeah, they might go nowhere.
Right, exactly. They might forever get lost in our system.
Yeah, you might get drafted, but you might also not go anywhere,
Right.
which
Not saying these guys are going to go nowhere, but
it's just kind of the keeping it in your brain. Like, yes, these guys are drafted and they're working toward that spot, but if they don't show enough, or if other guys push them out of the way, because we know it's a very competitive Detroit development pool right now, that could wane a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing to note would be that Denver's a very good development school. They have won 9 titles, NCAA titles, which ties University of Michigan. Go our state.
Go blue.
I don't care which one, just go our state.
From the mitten.
Yeah. So it's a great growth opportunity. And getting into any one of those schools, I would say that Denver is one of them. Michigan has a ton of, State has a ton of guys.
Notre Dame.
They're schools that you're like, oh, he's going there.
Yeah.
Because you know that they're known for their development. This is another one of those schools.
They push their players very hard, which it shows on ice. And the cool thing about that, too, is the fact that these 3 guys go to the same school and are approximately the same age situation.
Drafted by the same team.
They're
probably like a little club.
They all wear the Red Wings paraphernalia around school. Probably not. It creates a lot of internal competition amongst these 3 guys. Not only are they teammates, they're trying to work together for the same general purpose of the team for Denver, but they're also fighting against each other to get that spot in Detroit. And now it could be several seasons before they even see Detroit organization ice. So Grand Rapids, Toledo, whatever. But with that means they have to fight that much harder to not only gain the notice of the Detroit team above their current teammates, but also above the guys overseas and the other ones developing in different leagues around the world.
The ones that are a little more shiny and being looked at a little more right now. Because I think winning a championship, I think, would clue in. And I'm sure that all the development staff of the Red Wings has an eye on all the prospects that we have. But I think winning a championship kind of like laser focuses the scout or the development person.
It's kind of like the eye of Sauron.
I was thinking that myself.
When they're at the Black Gate,
Lord of the Rings, you get it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's just a good way to be like, hey, here we are. Hey, we're on this team, we're doing a lot of stuff.
They are spit shining their trophy, so that's the shiny part right there.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Exactly.
Shiny hardware. But all that to say, these guys, as far as the development time frame, the development pipeline, realistically, they'll probably do all 4 years. I can see all of these guys doing all 4 years, but that's excellent for them because not only are they beefing up, they're getting the opportunity to have more time on us, a lot more play time than they would if they were anywhere else.
They're getting that degree in case hockey doesn't work out.
You got to have a plan B, get that accounting degree.
Yeah.
But with that too, I think it's more stateside, so they're not fighting with the overseas guys. So we've got teams over there looking at those guys, we've got teams over here, so their pool is very big, but at the same time this is giving them the opportunity to kind of force Steve to look at them a little bit more closely, and Steve probably can get over there a little bit easier too, considering it's in America.
Exactly. And there's a lot of our guys, of course, spread out around the NCAA because it's a good track for them to take because the NCAA hockey is a great place to be crazy. For the development. It's teaching you a lot about, the team atmosphere, team spirit. And all these guys, of course, have been playing since they were young, so they understand that. But it's getting that you're having to arrange your priorities. Yeah. And it kind of, I think college can sometimes kind of weed out not the weak ones.
No, it can.
Because in the sense that...
College athletics, we should say.
I was going to say, yes. Athletics.
College athletics.
Let's not talk about college. But anyway, I think it can kind of weed out the guys who can't really see ahead, if you will. So, these guys, if they stay focused, if they remember what they're working toward as far as, I want to be in the NHL, I want to be on Detroit's team, that's going to be important versus the guys who are, who aren't super serious, who are drafted, but they're not
They're playing
shining.
because they can play, but I think with this, I think maybe what you're getting at is that...
Yeah, that was all. Please explain.
It teaches them to balance. They're treating it like they're professionals already, having to balance the career, the time, their nutrition, their training, plus
seeing
the
who's
games.
Serious and who's not.
Exactly. Who's going to make the sacrifices in this time where most people are just pub crawling?
Right.
Who's going to make the sacrifice to get to the ultimate end game of being in the NHL?
You're going to get a lot of distractions out there, of course, and I think that the guys who can, stay the course, stay focused, work on their athletics, are going to end up like Taro Hirose on a professional hockey team and playing up with the Red Wings.
And it's always
occasionally.
taco time.
It is always. Stay. So yeah, basically what we're thinking is, I would say probably the whole college experience is what they're going to do, the 4 years. I would think that would be even better for them, just to develop.
And I will say, final thought, I know we're running this a little long probably.
I don't think so.
If you guys are buckled in, my final thought here is that Detroit is not in a hurry to force prospects when they're not ready. Yeah. That's what we saw with Philip Larson. He wasn't ready. We moved him too fast. And now he crashed and burned and is on low.
Isn't that interesting? We're always like, do more, do it quicker. And then you're like, oh, slow down.
Yeah, well, there's some that can handle it, but the prospects and the teams themselves are not in a rush. I think we know what we need in the future, and Steve's not going to throw these kids in there if he knows they're not ready. Whereas in like Sider's case and in Raymond's case,
they showed themselves
to be ready, exactly. But if they weren't, he would have sent them back to Grand Rapids. We're not trying to rush the process.
Yeah.
You need to let it organically, just flow and see where these guys
Or if people keep getting injured in Detroit, they just keep getting the chance up there,
Can you just stop? Gonna wrap them all in bubble wrap when they go out on the ice.
So anyways, that's kind of our breakdown about those 3 prospects. Again, we'll be watching them throughout their career just because it's exciting to see. And I want to bring it back to the point that development takes time. It's exciting to see that these guys are making the push in college. It's exciting wherever they are to see them making the push, whether it's in Europe or, here at home. But again, the development staff is always very intentional about where these guys remain, because they can do what they want with them. They can call them up at this point. Yep. And they can do what they want with them, but they understand the development process.
Right.
And that's a very important thing to understand, is the development process.
Trust the process.
Yeah. So it's exciting to look forward to this year's draft. So make sure to leave a comment down below about these 3 guys, if you've seen any of them play in their college career so far. And let us know if you have any sort of other prospects that you're watching in college as well. That would be wonderful. And as the year comes to a close for hockey around the globe, we're looking forward to the draft. So be sure to watch our upcoming videos, and we will see you guys again
Let us know if you're coming to the game.
Subscribe.
Oh, you forgot again.
Subscribe and like and share.
It's 150-something videos in. Still can't remember.
Bye, guys.